Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for today's practice. We have a full practice today. We're going to start with a nice warm up and with a long cool down. We'll flow a little bit in between. If you'd like to use any props, some that I recommend are blocks, bolsters, and blankets. And if you don't have any of those things, don't worry, you don't necessarily need them. I'm going to give you options along the way. So for today's class, we're going to start out in a nice comfortable seat. If you have a mat, great. If you don't have a mat, just make sure you're practicing on a non-slip surface so you don't move around at all. And if you'd like to sit up on a blanket or a pillow, you're more than welcome to. But again, you don't necessarily have to. All right, so let's go ahead and come into our seat. Hands can be just resting wherever they fall. Take a moment to let go of the day thus far. Let go of the to-do list that you need to do later. It'll still be there. We're going to take a moment here just to breathe and to get ourselves nice and centered before our practice. So as you sit here, just make sure your spine is nice and tall. Relax your forehead. Relax those jaw muscles. Let those shoulder blades grow heavy down your back. And if it feels safe, you can close down the eyes. If not, just soften your gaze. And as we get started, just really take a moment to focus on your breath. Those inhales and those exhales. We are going to do a little breath work later, but for now, just breathe whatever feels normal to you. You can work on elongating that inhale and exhale. And while you are sitting there and breathing and taking this moment, I do want to read you guys the card that I pulled for today's practice. It is Hawk Spirit, and its message is to let Spirit be your guide. So going a little deeper into that message, are you noticing red flags? Perhaps saying to yourself, "Oh, what pretty flags," and giving them no more thought. Hopefully you're not. Hawk Spirit has arrived to tell you to stop and listen to the messages from Spirit. Take the time to observe the patterns you are seeing and do not dismiss your intuition. Even if the messages that you receive are not supported by evidence in the physical world. If it feels illogical to listen, oops, let me turn the page, to listen now, listen anyway. Sometimes you might want certain signs and messages to mean what you want them to mean. Interpreting, I can't even talk, through the lens of wishful thinking. A projection of your desire to see things a certain way. Of course, when you do that, you rarely find yourself where you want to be. Take heart. Spirit loves you so much and does not want you to get hurt, but to align with Spirit's plan for your highest good. Listen and follow the signs, and check your motives when you're being selective with your hearing. I think that is a great and very valuable message. So take from that what you would like. Let's keep on breathing for just a little bit longer, and then we'll start to warm everything up. If you'd like to set an intention, now is a great time to do so. But again, you don't have to. Let's take one more big inhale together. And then exhale, let it go. If your eyes are closed, you can slowly blink them open. All right, let's get to moving a little bit. So the first thing we want to do is look down at your feet. Notice which foot is in front of which foot. Which foot is closer to you? So for me, my left foot is closer, and that's perfectly fine. We're going to keep it there. So just pay attention because we're going to flip it here in a moment. From here, walk your fingertips forward and then just start to walk yourself down. Only go as far as feels comfortable to you. If you're here and this is it, stay here. Maybe you'd like a little bit more, you can come down to your elbows. You're going to feel a nice big stretch in the back body. And then if you want even more, you need a bigger stretch, you can bring your forehead to your hands on the mat. Hi, Fritz, come here. Come here, Bubba. Fritz wants to come and say hi. He didn't come and say hi at the beginning. Say hi. Not to me. Say hi to them. Fritz is here. We might see Sam. I don't know. If you have any furry friends, that's okay. Running around. Take a moment here to just breathe. Oh. And like clockwork, we have a Sam too. Hi, Sam. I'm going to say hello to everyone. They usually come in at the beginning when I first start talking. They didn't today. Yes, hi. Keep breathing where you're at. And when you're ready, we're going to rise back up from wherever you're at, come back to your nice comfortable seat, and we're going to switch our legs around. So I'm going to bring my right leg in, switch it with my left leg here. Take a nice big breath to prepare, and then we're going to walk it down again. Only walk it out as far as it feels comfortable to you. So it might be here, you might be on your forearms, or maybe you bring your head to your palms, making a little pillow. And if you have a block, you can use a block to bring the ground up to your forehead as well. You're going to take some nice big breaths here. You're going to feel a stretch in that outer hip. All right, when you're ready, we'll walk it right back up. And then we're going to go ahead and come to all fours to a nice tabletop position. So go ahead and get yourself set up. So in our tabletop position, knees are going to be underneath our hip points. Hands are going to be underneath your shoulders. Your back from head to tail is going to be one straight line. And we're going to warm up the spine with one of my favorites, cat-cow. If you know cat-cow, you can take it away. If you don't, let's get into it. So on an inhale, we're going to drop those lower ribs. We're going to lift our tail, lift our forehead, or head and chest up. So we're really dropping those lower ribs down towards the mat, feeling a nice big stretch in our front body here. On the exhale, we're going to reverse that action, curling through the spine, dropping our head, dropping our tail, really pressing away from the mat to feel that stretch in our back body for our cat pose. Inhale, we'll drop down into cow. And then as we exhale, we'll round our spine up into cat. And then we're just going to keep that movement going for a few more rounds as we breathe. And you can go at your own pace and speed. If one posture feels really good to you, then maybe stay in it for a few breaths. Wherever you're at, do one more round, and then we'll return to that nice neutral tabletop position. And once you get there, I'll meet you there. All right, from here, look down at your hands. We're going to walk them one handprint in front of where they were. Go ahead and tuck those toes under. Take a nice big inhale here. And then on your exhale, we're going to lift those knees up off the mat, straighten through the legs, really press back through the heels, press through those hands, coming into our first downward facing dog. You can take your dog for a walk by bending one knee and then the other, feeling a nice stretch in those calf muscles. Or you can just be in stillness, letting those heels grow heavy, feeling a nice big stretch through the legs and the back. Either way, keep breathing. You can even mix it up a little bit. I'm going to take some nice deep breaths here. And after your next exhale, go ahead and look forward. We're going to make our way up to the top of the mat. So take a few baby steps, or you can take some big steps, whatever feels good to you. Make sure you keep a slight bend in the knee. You don't want to lock out the knees. We're going to come into our forward fold. If you have blocks, this is a great place to use them to bring the floor up to you. If you have any difficulties in this posture, it can be a little bit nicer. If you don't have blocks, just bend your knees as generously as you would need to. On an inhale, we're going to come up halfway. Keep a nice flat back, hands on the shins or thighs, whatever feels good to you. And then exhale, forward fold, let it go. You can sway side to side. You can be in stillness. Just make it your own, but make sure to keep breathing here. On your next exhale, we're going to start to really press through the feet and roll all the way up until we're standing. Try and go as slow as you can. I'm not very good at going super slow coming up here. I like to move a little bit faster, so it can be difficult to me. And once you're there, go ahead and give your limbs a shake. Shake everything out. Fix any clothes, fix your hair, fix whatever you need to, so that way you can come into your mountain pose strong, without fidgeting, without moving around. So really feel your feet in the mat. We're going to stand up nice and tall, hands at the side, chest nice and lifted, looking forward, mountain pose. All right, I'm going to turn to the long edge of my mat. I invite you to do the same if you'd like to. And we're going to step our feet out a little bit wider than hips distance. They don't have to be super wide. And we're going to just move some energy through the body, especially any stuck energy through, it's not really a pose, but it's a little practice called knocking on heaven's door. It's called different things in different modalities. So if you do any Tai Chi or Qigong, you might have seen this move elsewhere. But it's a really nice one to help move any of that stuck energy. So what you're going to do, your feet are about hips distance apart, maybe a little bit longer. You can adjust as you go, but we're going to just kind of sway to one side, letting our hands go, and then to the other. Make sure as you're doing this that you're not around anything you can knock into, doors, anything that can break, chairs. Just make sure you're in a good space to do this. And then as you start picking up some speed, you can let your hands hit your body. Maybe your lower back, maybe give your booty a smack, maybe your hip. You can play with that. Just breathe and move back and forth, side to side. If you'd like, you can start to bring your hands up and you can tap your clavicle here. Just breathing. You can also keep it low. You can spin in a circle. We're going to breathe here. We're going to do this for a little under a minute. So just ease into it, smile, have fun with it. I'm on TikTok live right now doing this, so if I can look silly doing this, you can do it too. Nobody watching you. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, this especially goes for you to get up and try it. Keep breathing here for a few more seconds. And then we're going to start to slow it down, slow it down. And we're going to come into stillness, coming back into our mountain pose. Take a couple breaths here, see how you feel now. For me, I always feel like a little tingly rush of energy through my whole body after we do that. But you might have some other sensations. If you did come to the long end of your mat, go ahead and come back to the short edge of your mat. I'm going to give Fritz a little pet here. Yes, I see you. And on an inhale, let's reach our hands up to the sky. Exhale, slight bend in the knees as we shift our hips back. Forward fold once again. Out, you're stepping on my hair, sir. Thank you. On an inhale, come up halfway, flat back. Exhale, let it go, forward fold. Take a few breaths here. Now, regardless of where you are at in your forward fold, if your hands are on a block or on your shins or on your body, make sure to bend your knees as generously as you need to bring those hands to the mat. Once they're there, we're going to step our right leg back. Go ahead and come on to your right knee. You can keep the toes tucked or untucked, yogi's choice. We're moving into a low lunge. So in this low lunge, your front leg, so in this case my left leg, is going to be at a nice 90-degree angle. When I look down, I can see my big toe. If you can't see that big toe, push that knee to the outer edge of your mat. As you inhale, you're going to reach your chest up nice and tall, nice length here. Again, you can always use blocks to bring the ground up to you. If you don't have blocks, you can always just bring your hands to the top of your thigh for some extra support. So choose your option, and we're going to take a moment here in stillness just to breathe. Now, wherever you're at, plant that right palm in onto the mat. We're going to take our left hand and we're going to bring it up to the sky as we spin inward towards our right thigh, or our left thigh here, and breathe in this nice little gentle twist. After your next exhale, we'll lower that left hand to the mat. Go ahead and tuck those right toes under if they're not already. We'll lift that right knee up, and then as you look forward, we're going to make our way back up to the top of the mat. So try and step your right foot back up the way it came. And we're going to find ourselves back in our forward fold. Once you're there, we're going to inhale, come up halfway, nice flat back here. And then exhale, let it go. Forward fold, take a few breaths. All right, when you're ready, we're going to go move on to side two. So make sure your hands are planted into the mat. We'll step our left toes back, lowering down onto that left knee. Again, toes can be tucked or untucked. Make sure your foundation is set up for your nice low lunge on the right side. And then we'll take a moment here to breathe. When you're ready, we'll plant our left palm down. We'll turn to the inside of our right thigh, and then we'll lift our right fingers up to the sky, coming into a twist on the opposite side. Breathe here. And then when you're lower that right hand down to the mat. We're gonna tuck our left toes under, lift that left knee up, and instead of stepping back up to our forward fold, we're gonna step our right foot back to meet our left to come into our first plank of today. Now you can come to your knees to come into a half plank if that is better for you, or you can be up in full plank with me here. Either way, make sure your hips aren't dipping down, make sure they're not coming up. You want a nice straight line here. Really press away from the mat, press back through those heels. Try and keep a nice straight line with your back. We're gonna breathe here. If you're shaking, that's great. Means you're alive. One more breath. And on your exhale, lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Take a few moments here to breathe, shake it out. All right, when you're ready, make sure this left foot is firmly planted into the mat. We're going to lift our right toes up. Now, they don't have to come clear up here. You want your leg in line with your hips, toes dialed down. And then on your exhale, we're going to bend that knee in towards our chest. Look forward, bring that knee up, and then we'll step our right foot in between our hands. Step the left foot in slightly. Pivot on that back left foot. So that way the left foot is looking out towards the corner of your the left corner of your mat. And then when you're ready, we're going to rise up. Try and keep a 90-degree bend in this front foot. Hips are going to be turned towards the short edge of our mat. Hands can be on your hips or in prayer at your chest, or you can lift them up coming into a warrior one. Breathe here, pull this right hip crease back, left hip crease forward. And on your next exhale, we're going to cascade it back down, pivot on that left foot, come back into that lunge, and then we're going to step our right foot back to meet our left. We're back in plank. Breathe here. On your next exhale, go ahead and lower all the way down to the mat. You can untuck those toes, let the forehead rest for a moment. Take a breath. We're going to bring our hands underneath our shoulders, tuck those elbows into the side, and on your next inhale, look forward. Coming into a little baby cobra, warming up our back muscles a little bit. On the exhale, go ahead and lower that forehead back down to the floor. We're going to come back up to all fours, tuck those toes under, take a breath in to prepare. And then on your exhale, find your way back into downward facing dog. Take a moment here to breathe. And then when you're ready, plant that right foot down into the mat. We're going to lift those left toes up off the mat. Keep the hip dialed in. Exhale, we'll shift it forward. Bring that knee in and towards our center. And then we'll step that left foot in between our hands. Go ahead and pivot on that right foot a little bit. And then we'll rise up. Make sure you're nice and stabilized on your legs. We're going to pull this left hip crease back, right hip crease forward this time. Hands can be on the hips, prayer, or you can lift them up, warrior one. Take a few moments here to breathe. One more big inhale here. And then exhale, we'll float it back down. Find that low lunge again. And we're going to step it back into plank or half plank, yogi's choice. And breathe. One more big inhale here. And exhale, we'll lower it all the way down to the mat. Inhale, we'll rise up into our baby cobra. Or if you'd like a little more, really press into those hands. Rise up a little taller, coming into full cobra. Now, if you are in full cobra, you feel any crunchiness in that lower back, go ahead and come down a little bit. Also, make sure you're not collapsing into your ears with your shoulders. Roll those shoulder blades back and down, so that way you're really shining your heart center forward. Keep breathing. And on an exhale, we're going to lower it back down. From here, we're going to return to tabletop. Bring your knees as wide as the mat, big toes to touch. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, sink those hips towards those heels. Walk your fingertips forward, coming into an extended child's pose. Take a breath. Keep breathing there. We'll take a few more breaths here. And then when you're ready, go ahead and look forward. We're going to find our way back into a nice, comfortable seat for a moment. Whew. Hopefully that got some energy flowing for you. Feeling a little bit of movement there. All right, we're going to keep on twisting a little bit. So we're coming into a little seated twist. I'm going to take my left hand. It's going to come to my right knee. Right fingers are going to swing around behind me. On an inhale, let's sit up nice and straight and tall. Exhale, go ahead and journey into that twist. Look over towards the right. Inhale, maybe you sit up a little bit taller. Exhale, maybe you journey into that twist a little bit more. Keep breathing here. I'm not using my left hand to crank myself into this position either. It's just there for support. On an exhale, we'll return to center. Take a moment to breathe. Feel both sides. See if you can see if there's any differences. And then when you're ready, we're going to move to the other side. So right hand to left knee. Left fingers are going to come around behind my knee. Inhale, we'll sit up nice and straight and tall. And then exhale, journey into that twist towards the left. Again, maybe you inhale and sit up a little taller. And then on the exhale, maybe you can journey a little bit further into that twist. Keep breathing here. And then when you're ready, we'll return to center and let that go. All right, so we're going to look at our feet from here. Go ahead and bring the soles of your feet together, really together. We're coming into something called cobbler's pose. So we're in this cobbler's pose, feet together. You can see my knees are down. If your knees are not going to do this, if this is not a good position for you, you can use blocks here and bring them underneath your knees just to give yourself some more stability. If you don't have blocks, you can let your feet come out away from the body a little bit, just so it's a little bit easier on your knees. So pick your option. We're going to take a moment here to sit up nice and straight and tall and breathe. You can bring your hands around your feet to sit up a little bit taller. You can give yourself a little foot massage, whatever feels good to you here. This is a nice big hip opener. And then we're going to revisit what we did earlier at the very beginning of the session when we did a little forward fold while we were seated. So we're gonna stay in this cobbler's pose, and from here we're gonna walk it forward. Again, go as far as it feels good to you. So maybe it's here today. Maybe you wanna come down to your forearms. Maybe you wanna make a little pillow with your hands and bring your forehead down to your hands, and you can smell your feet here, or whatever you'd like to do. So go ahead and choose your option, and then take a moment here to breathe. You're gonna get a deeper hip stretch here. When you're ready, look forward. We're gonna walk it all the way back, and then I'm gonna turn so that way I'm sitting on that long edge of my mat again. We're gonna do some ab work in this next section, and then we're gonna cool it down. So we're not gonna be getting up off the mat again, but don't let this ab work scare you. All right, so sitting up, we're gonna bring the soles of our feet to the mat. We're gonna sit up nice and straight and tall. Now maybe you stay here. You can bring your hands around your thighs, keep your chest nice and lifted. Keep breathing here. Maybe you want to play with lifting one foot up and then the other. Maybe you want to play with lifting both legs up. Maybe you want to let go of your legs. Maybe you want to straighten your legs. Go ahead and choose your boat pose option wherever it is. We're going to breathe here. Keep your chest nice and lifted during it. Don't collapse. If you're shaking, that's great. And then when you're ready, let that go. Whew. So your abs should be nice and turned on now. We're going to go ahead and lay down onto our backs. And go ahead and bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze here. All right, from here, let's go ahead and lift our right leg up. We'll keep our left foot out and extended. So we're going to go into a little bit of kind of like a scissoring action here. So I'm actually going to lift my kind of upper back up. So my shoulder blades are not on the mat. Looking forward, keep length in the neck. I'm going to just go ahead and grab my right foot, and then on my breath, I'm going to switch it. So go ahead and choose your option here. We're going to go back and forth for about a minute, starting now. So keep breathing here. And you don't have to go as fast as I'm going. You don't have to go as slow. Really choose your option based on your body. And your bottom leg doesn't have to go as far to the mat as mine is. You can keep it up a little bit more if that feels better in your body. Keep breathing here. We've got a few more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and give yourself a hug again. Take a moment to breathe. All right, I have one last ab exercise for you. So a few weeks back in January, we were actually practicing bicycles. We're going to do bicycles again, but it's going to be kind of half bicycles. We're not going to go full bicycle. It's like a scooter, I guess. All right, from here, keep your knees bent in a nice tabletop position. We're going to bring our hands behind our head. And as we inhale, we're going to bring our right elbow to left knee. And then we'll come back through center. And then left elbow to right knee. And come back to center. And we're just going to work back and forth, hitting the side of those abs. Now, if you don't have to lower back down to the mat, then don't. I would recommend staying up or bringing your upper back up a little bit, so that way you're fully engaging those abs. Keep your back glued to the mat, the lower back especially. And we're going to keep on for about another 30 seconds in this exercise, because I think we've probably been doing this for at least 30 seconds. Keep moving. Keep breathing. After this, we're going to cool it down. Just 2 more. Let's do 2 more, and then we'll let it go. All right, after your second one, go ahead and bring it in for a hug again. Take a moment to breathe. All right, let's do one last twist. So keep your knees where they're at. You can bring your arms out to the side in a big Texas T. And then we're going to let our legs fall to one side. So I'm going to let mine fall to the right side. Try and keep your shoulder blades on the mat. And then you can look out towards your opposite arm. So I'm going to look out past my right arm since my legs are falling over to the left. And just take a moment here to breathe. After a few moments, go ahead and bring it back to center, and we'll move to the other side. So I'm going to bring my knees over to the right, looking over past my left shoulder. Just going to breathe here. From here, let's go ahead and return to center. Give yourself one last hug. And then when you're ready, go ahead and let your feet meet the mat. Or walk our feet out to the edge of the mat. Let the knees fall in together so that way they're resting. Your legs are resting on each other. Your hands can be on your belly. They can be out at your sides. But take a moment here just to breathe. We're going to go into some breath work in just a moment. So we're going to take a few rounds of breath. What we're going to do is inhale to a count of 3, and then we're going to exhale for a count of 5. And we're going to do that for about 5 rounds. So I will count you in. Take a breath, let it go. And when you're ready, we'll inhale for 1, 2, 3, and then exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhaling 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last round. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then go ahead and let that go. Let your breath return to normal. Now, if you would like to stay in this constructive rest pose, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, we're going to walk the feet back in line with the hips. And then you can send one leg out long and away, and then the other. And we're going to come into our final resting posture, Shavasana. So if you use any props, you can. If you don't want to use any props, you don't have to. Just let it go. We're going to take a moment here to breathe, to reflect on our practice, to thank our bodies, and to give gratitude for all of the work that they do for us. I am going to go quiet for a moment just so you can have some space and time to focus on your own body and your practice. But know that I'm still here, I'm holding space for you, and I will be back shortly to guide you out of this final posture. If you would like to stay in Shavasana, then go ahead and stay as long as time allows. If you need to continue on with your day, then slowly start to deepen your breaths. When you feel ready, begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, bringing some movement back into them. From there, you can place one foot on the mat and then the other. Just keep your knees bent for a moment. Whenever you feel ready, I invite you to roll over to your favorite side, come into a little fetal position, and just hang out there for a moment. Take a few deep breaths. Finally, whenever you feel ready, go ahead and return to your nice comfortable seat, bringing your head and neck up last. If your eyes are closed, you can go ahead and open them back up to the room around you. Sam came and joined us for this last stretch of practice. He's super relaxed. I hope you guys are super relaxed too. Thank you so much for the hearts on the live. I appreciate it. For those of you that are on the live, if you came in late and you're interested in doing this practice from the beginning, there is a link in my bio to my YouTube page that houses all of my past practices, so everyone is there. It is 100% free. Feel free to check that out. If you like it, please subscribe. Please like the videos. If there's anything you'd like to practice, let me know in those comments. This practice will be posted on there by early next week. I usually make an announcement on my TikTok page here. If you're joining me from YouTube, thank you so much. I really hope you enjoyed this practice. Know that there were people practicing alongside you during this, so you're not doing this alone. I will be back next week with a brand new practice, so I hope to see you on the live then, or if not on the live, on the replay on YouTube. So I hope everyone has a great rest of the week and rest of February, and I will see you next week when it is March. Namaste. All right, you gotta let me up. Yes, I know. I'm sorry. All right, bye guys. Thank you so much for the hearts.